The Women Beyond the Table is a community of empowered women who are rewriting the rules and taking their skills, knowledge, and wisdom beyond the table.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women Beyond the Table podcast. My name is Tammy, and it is always a pleasure to be on, especially with the best co-host ever, Caryn. Hey, Caryn.
Tam, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here too. And I'm really super excited about our guest today, Alena Chapman. I have been listening to her and I am just so thrilled to be speaking to her today.
Yes, I mean, we're very stoked to have Alena on. And today, for everybody out there, is a table talk episode where we discuss a topic with a guest expert. And today's topic is soul wisdom, growth, and purpose. I am very amped that our guest expert is Alena Chapman. Alena is a multi-time international best-selling author. She's a speaker and spiritual mentor. She's the founder of the Chapman Life Institute, LLC, and a host of the podcast, and currently in an AM/FM radio show format too, called Magical Moments. Alena works her magic by meaningfully integrating the wisdom of age-old mystical spiritual modalities with scientific research, and I love that. This integration brings clarity, ease, flow, and positive lasting growth that helps her clients better understand a world that often seems out of touch and overwhelming. Amen to that, sister, because that's exactly the world we're living in right now, okay?
Yeah.
Alena, you are a healer. You're a soul curator. You help people connect to their soul's purpose. Welcome to the podcast. We are thrilled to have you on.
Oh, I am so thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm so enjoying this already.
I know, right? And we're just like feeling the good energy. We haven't even got into it yet. We're all excited. But I want to tell you, I read your most recent book, Hello Soul. And that was book number 4, correct? That you've read.
Book number 3.
Hello
three.
Soul. Book number 3.
I think it's book number 3. And then I've got some littler books, so I'm counting the major ones. 3. Yeah.
So you've been writing. So
I've been writing.
And Hello Soul is most recent. And what I found really interesting was like the whole journey that you went on, because you spoke about how as kids, when we're born, when we're in the womb and we're born and we're out there as children, we're full of magic. We listen to our souls, we connect with everything around us, and we're open and we see things with actually a really great clarity. We see the beauty and the magic everywhere, and how over time, and what happened to you, your story, and I think it happens to a lot of us over time, between our families, between the society, between the culture that we live in, it kind of derails us from that natural magic that we see and that connection that we have. So I find it, totally fascinating that you were able to not only like feel that something's wrong and you need to reconnect, but that you did it. It's one thing to talk it, it's another thing to be able to reconnect. And now that that reconnection changed your whole path, it changed your trajectory, but it also brought you to helping others connect to their soul. So can you share a bit of that story with us? Because I think it's something that's going to resonate with everybody.
Yeah, I lived as an unconscious competent for a very long time. And I don't know even how I did that, because my mom wasn't supportive at all. But somehow I just lived my own life. I left that house as fast as I could and during the day, in the morning, and I played with my friends. We had a good time. And somehow I always had that imagination was so alive. I drove my teachers crazy, and everything. My mom used to say I had like a rabbit's foot in my pocket. She didn't understand, because everything would just turn out for me. If there was a bully in school, I would conquer it. If I had the tough time in grades, all of a sudden I'm doing well. It's just everything. And my life was an unconscious competent. I did have immense gratitude all the time just for being alive. And when I went to church, the music would just, I escaped the dogmas.
Alena, would you say that you lived, like, it sounds like you lived a life in flow, like just like what
I did. I lived in flow. I allowed myself to feel good. That's what it was. like in church. I wasn't caught up in the man-made stuff. I was with the glory. I was vibrating high with the music. And so you didn't get dragged down. Now, I lived that way for a long time until 28, 30. And then my dad, wanted me to fulfill this part of my life and thought I should do this one way. He wanted me to get married, and I had to get married in what he found approving. And so that was fine. However, I was open to it. However, being an unconscious competent, I didn't know how much I could lose if I did it not, if I started listening to other people. And I did get married. Now, am I unhappy?
Alena, can I just ask you, what is an unconscious competent?
It's someone who is living in that flow and living in that, like in our business, everything is just flowing. It's just, you never get dragged down. You always know that it's going to be fine. You just
love that. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah,
I had a feeling it was like that, but that was great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's almost like you're not even aware that you're in the synchronicity. You're just living it. Yeah.
You're just in it. You're just in
living it. Yeah.
What they call the vortex. Abraham Hicks calls the vortex. Whatever you use, it's that. And I was in it, but I didn't realize I was in it until I lost it. And I did get my beautiful kids, and I love my kids, but the constant, you need to be this, you need to be that, you need not to do this, you need not to do that, and trying to shape me was making me lose the magic. And everything became very hard. Oh gosh, I don't know how anybody lives that way.
This is an astounding story, Alena. This really is. I'm fascinated.
But
everything became hard. You know what I mean? Like relationships became hard. Everything was like drudgery. Everything had to be done instead of I want to. Everything was just obstacles. And I was getting not happy. And it was really
Most people live the opposite way. It's hard, and then they try to find enlightenment.
Yeah. And you know what? I thought back about that, Caryn, because that's a good point. And I had to think back, and I had to say, wait a minute. I was meant to go through that. Because how could I help others if I'm unconscious?
Right. You can't help people if you haven't walked the walk.
You have to walk the walk. And going back and all of a sudden seeing how everybody lives, by the way, none of you should live that way, because that's not why we're here. And so I said, I was on the road and I looked up at the sky. That's how I discovered, because something had to wake me up from this nightmare. And I looked up at the sky and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not thankful. I'm always thankful for the sky. The sky's a gift every day. I was not thankful. And I thought, what's wrong with me? And that was my wake-up call, right? And from that point on, I decided I'm going to find this magic. I'm going to get it back. I want that.
What I found really fascinating too with you is that anytime you had to think something, or you had to, you recognize that you had to take something, that you had to deal with something, you went to nature, you went to the park, you went to the water, you went to the, and Alena, like this really hit me, because I find that that's what I'm doing myself. I go to the park, I go someplace and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's something to this. Like the connecting to nature, even being grateful for it, but just being in it. So you can think when you're in that atmosphere. And I saw you doing it constantly in the book, where you had to grapple with something, figure it out, and you went there. You knew your body took you there. You just started driving and you wound up there.
What we don't understand is that spirit, God, whatever your belief is, it doesn't matter, because it's all one, really. It is always trying to connect with you, always. And in nature, you get out of societal norms. You get out of the mass consciousness. And when you enter into nature, then spirit's alive. If spirit is that true force, okay, and it's omnipresent, that means it's in everything. and it will reach out to us. It's in us. It's waking us up. So when you are out in nature, you're starting to get the purest form of spirit, unencumbered by people and all of our stuff.
and people's energy.
Yeah, people's energy. And you will start to hear things. Things will start to happen out there. It's amazing. One time I was walking and it was kind of a very muddy day and I didn't really want to get off the path because it would be too muddy. And I walked past this little path that was very muddy and I got this message, you need to walk down that path. And I thought, oh, I don't have shoes, right? I'm going to get all muddy, but I went anyway. And I tried to find my way. And then it even guided me. It said, keep going, keep going. And when I looked, there was this big giant pond. And then the pond, at that very moment, at the angle that they drew me to, it was a total reflection of the sky, to the point where I felt I could walk on that water and be in the sky. Do you see?
Wow.
It was that much of a reflect. You couldn't tell the difference between the sky and the water. And I looked at it and I thought, oh my God, as above, so below, as within, so is out. And it's bringing home to me, connect more, because the more you connect, it is the same thing. It is the same thing. And I thought, oh my God, see, it will reach you. If you go into nature, you will learn something from everything because spirit is alive. That's why I'm always there.
You know what? I always felt like as humans, we're the connector, we're the conduit between the earth and the heavens. Like we're the funnel, because we're standing on the earth and you look up to the heaven. So we must be like this. Our bodies really are meant to be like this vessel to connect the heaven and the earth. I always felt like that.
Yeah, we are. Well, inside yourself, you have energy. You are a soul. You are a spirit within a body. And it goes right up the chakras. And our souls just, that chakra, that's even the spine, the chakras, the energy field within us. I'll try to speak it. That energy field just keeps going. So when you connect to your soul, you're connecting to divinity. You truly are. And I just think it enhances any belief that you have. It just does. It's not anti, it's pro. And so when you have that, all of a sudden you understand. So like, if you find yourself in difficulty, I told you I had to be in the hospital in Rochester. What I didn't tell you was I got, after I got out of the emergency room, which I'm well, don't worry about it, folks. It was a reaction. So I get.
Yes. You were dealing with an illness, to a reaction to
my body.
Your body was reacting to something. So
I was poisoning myself. So I got out and I was kind of disoriented and I got into a lift. Well, that lift brought me to downtown in this city, and I won't name the city because I don't want to bring harm, but the first thing my son will say, who went to the university there, do not go into that city at night.
Is it New York?
Really bad. Well, no, but do not go into that city. And the guy dropped me off. He thought it was my hotel. I was not with it because I just got out of the emergency room, right? So I'm like, not really with it. I get out of the car. It is a hotel that's not it's not open. And I am on a street corner. There is no one. It's dead. It is, except for a couple men. And this car drives by and yells obscenities at me. I thought, oh God, they think I'm a prostitute, right? And so then they probably did. Right? Let's be real, And then I saw these guys on bikes. They were on bikes and there were two guys and they just kept getting closer and closer. And I couldn't get my phone to work. Okay, so everybody out there, you're probably panicked. Now, this is a lot. I'm trying to be extreme to show you what really happens when you start to understand how powerful it is when you start living and realizing that you have so much in you. The spirit is in you. Because I'm standing there leaning against the wall, looking like a prostitute, I guess, and I can't get my Wi-Fi to work to call another lift. So I just leaned up against the wall and I said, okay, God, you always get me out of these messes I seem to get myself into. I said, I just have total faith. I know that I'm protected. I know you're here. You're going to get me out. Now, this is what happened. Right after that, those bikes are getting really close. I stood up tall and I just looked him straight in the eye and I said, hello. And the guy smiled and he said, hi. And he pulled off. I was protected. I've had that happen before in my life. That wasn't a freak thing. That really does happen. And then all of a sudden, my Wi-Fi starts to work and I can call a Lyft. Do you see? If you really have that incredible knowing, it's not just faith, it's knowing. It's a positive knowing. Then when you get into obstacles and you say, I know you're going to work with me on this. I know it. I'm not going to worry about it. I've had so many stories like that. And magically stuff starts to unfold. Oh, you're on mute, Caryn.
She froze. She's having some. Yeah.
Hi,
Caryn.
I was just going to say, it reminds me of Florence Scovel Shinn, the game of life and how to play it, when she casts the burden and talks about that.
Yeah, exactly. You have got to not even pay attention to that. Even in our businesses, when we run into that place where we're feeling like, I don't know what to do. You don't have to know what to do. You don't even have to have that big goal. You have to just believe that whatever your message is, it's going to come forward in the very best way, in the very best meaningful way for people, and believe that the best for all will come forward. That's all. And walk with total belief, make decisions and jump with opportunities with that belief. And that's what we don't do in life.
No, we say we say to ourselves, we limit ourselves and we'll say, I'm not qualified for that, or I don't have the skill set for that, or I'm not ready for that. Maybe I need 12 more courses before I can even think to do that, because, oh my God, and they're going to know that I don't know what I'm doing. Meanwhile, did you ever notice with men might have 60% of the skill set and they'll go, I can do it.
I can do it.
Yeah, it's women tend to have that. Do you think I don't think we're born like limit with the limitation in our head, because you dream big. I'm going to be a astronaut. I'm going to be a ballerina. I'm going to be all these things. I'm going to be the president. I'm going to be whatever I want. And then you grow up and it just completely changes. So it's probably more to do with, of course, like we were talking about earlier, society and the community and our family. And we're not always fortunate a lot of us grew up in dysfunction because we're all human, right? But some kids have, in their families, there's more support than other kids. It's clear, you can see it. I'm always admiring those people who didn't have any support and they had a really tough family life, but yet they go out there and they just blow it away because maybe they are way more in touch and they don't listen to society because they stopped listening to their families. And they're rebels.
Rebels. Yeah.
And they're rebels. And they're the ones that the teachers say are a problem and all that stuff because they don't walk the tune that everybody else walks. But so about dreaming big and capturing that as an adult, I heard something really interesting, that people are very linear in the way that they look at like their paths. Like, okay, I'm in this position and I want to go for the manager spot. And that the way to look at it is to not look so linear, but to look vertically expansive, say, manager, I'm going to own this company, or I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going like that. Like, don't be so linear, but we're taught to be very next step, and not like, wow, miles. That's where I'm going.
Yeah. And it's really funny. I don't even think in steps. I think of where I want to be. I believe it. It's going to happen. That's it.
Right. So you focus on the outcome. Yeah.
I focus on what I want to feel. The thing is, we don't understand. And just like when I saw that water that was reflecting the sky, it's in here, folks. It's in here. If you think you have to work by steps, well, then by God, you will work by steps. But if you feel like that person you want to be, and you feel, and it doesn't even have to be that hard, because a lot of us, believe it or not, have trouble visualizing. We have trouble seeing ourselves where we aren't right now. Okay. But we can start to know what we want to have in our life. We can start to understand we want the ease and flow in our business. I'll give you a great visualization for that. When I get up in the morning, I don't think of, oh God, I got to do this, I got to do that, because that does nothing for my soul. But what does is to think, I love to kayak. I used to be a kayak instructor, a canoe kayak during high school and stuff. So I see myself just gliding on that water, gliding through the day, just gliding. And it's amazing because that puts joy in me. That puts, this life is going to be a piece of cake. Right. And I see myself going where I want because I am gliding on that beautiful lake. Do you see? And it's getting the feeling of what it's going to be like. If I want to,
the feeling is very important. You have to have the feeling is as important as the visualization. Yeah. How are you going to feel when you get there? Yeah, for sure.
If you do not feel it, the universe has nothing to do.
So when you have intention, and then when the emotion follows that, it's what makes it powerful.
Yeah. You have to become what Steve Jobs said that. He said, if you can hold it in your mind, you can become it, then you'll hold it in your hand. And it's true. This world is sort of an illusion, guys. And we get caught up in all the mundane little steppy things.
Minutia, yeah.
There's no steps, folks. There really isn't. You can hear story after story of people who work hard, do it, but they never get anywhere. They end up totally disillusioned. And then you hear other people who work hard, but they don't work hard. They take these little baby strategic steps, they feel their way, and before they know it, they're soaring. And that's what it takes. It's knowing that you're here for the purpose, that you will attain that purpose. You're going to be kayaking all the way there, or whatever.
I love that. I love the visualization because also your subconscious, which works to sabotage at times, because it's coded a certain way, and we all recognize that it understands images. It doesn't, and when you're putting that image of you, like I like to be on, I see myself like floating like a leaf on the river, when I have all this color around me. That's like my visualization. And I'm going past the banks and it's like I'm just flowing on the water. It's always water. And you have a whole chapter in your book just about the flow.
I'm a big water person. Yeah.
And the water, it's amazing. And your subconscious says, yeah, that's what she wants.
That's
what she wants. Okay, I get it.
We got to do it. We got to do it. And it puts you on that vibration. And what does that do? Then all that vibration below you, it's not part of your world anymore. Isn't that nice? You want to create boundaries? That's how you do it. Everything will fall away, and obstacles, you'll find yourself going around. What it does, will you still get obstacles? Of course you will, folks, because that's how we learn, Every seed in the ground knows that. It has to go through around the rocks, right? But it doesn't stop. It doesn't think of it as an obstacle. It's just, I'm kayaking and oh my gosh, there's a little wave. I'm going right over it.
When you notice that you hit an obstacle in life, and do you notice your reaction? Can you tell us, like, how do you handle the obstacle?
It depends on what and I've had a couple obstacles in business, of course. I have to feel what I think is right, and I just go with it. I know, first of all, I register it. It's just an obstacle. It is not where I'm going. It's just for me to learn.
It's a temporary thing. It's not forever, right?
Yeah, and I want to know what I'm going to learn. But believe it or not, I don't ask that in the beginning, because how can you know, right? So my job is, okay, well, how am I going to get through this obstacle in the best and easiest way and the fastest? That's how I like it. And if I can go around it, I will. If I have to go through it, then I'll bring in whoever I need to bring in and get through it. I don't think of it as this, oh my God, we got this problem. No, it's just, okay, what's the best way to get through this the fastest, the quickest, and learn so I don't ever have this again. That's it.
And that's resilience too. That's an amazing resilience.
But it's not just a resistance. It's knowing where I want to be. I'm that kayak.
Yeah, it's like understanding, like, this is life. Life isn't, we're living life. We're living in the human realm, and we're souls navigating it and getting a lot of experience out of it, and learning. Yeah. And I mean, God, I believe, God, I love that you say beloved in the book, because that's how I think of it too. Yeah. But God, he's experiencing through us too, in a lot of ways, because that's what we're here for. I always tell my kids, I'm like, I do it this way. I was like, life's a road. There's a road, and some parts of the road are so smoothly paved and straight, and some parts have potholes and dinks. And then sometimes you come to, and you got to drive it. And sometimes you come to these twists and curves. You're like, it's not straight anymore. I got to take this curve. Why am I taking the curve? Take the curve. Because it's going to take you somewhere else. And you know what? On your journey on the road, you're going to come to a bridge, and some bridges are beautiful and in great state of, they're beautiful bridges. You see great stuff, and some bridges are really in disrepair. But this is life. This is a metaphor. This is your life, and you've got to go on it, because you're meant to learn. You're meant to figure out the obstacles, but you're going to get through everything. You're going to get through it. It's up here.
We have to learn. And we're not here to be the dentist. We're not here to be the whatever we think we're going to be. It's the journey. It's how we handle the journey, because that is what our soul's about. We're here to create. If something doesn't work, just create something else. We are here to experience and create. That's what we're here for. That's it. And of course, to learn that love. That's when you're going home. That's when, even here on earth, once you understand that love, but it's that creating an experience. Everything is an experience, because your soul, its purpose is, it has lessons it needs to learn. That's why you're here. And it's going to provide maybe that obstacle. When you get through it, you're like, oh my God, that just taught me this incredible thing about connectiveness, or how to deal with relationships. Oh my gosh, a big one, right? And then all of a sudden, your soul has just taken a leap that you would have never taken if you hadn't gone through that obstacle. That's why
it's like when we lose resistance of when we have obstacles that confront us, we don't, if we don't resist it, then we could flow through it more easily, it sounds like.
Oh God, yes. If you don't resist it, then all of a sudden you find yourself in a place where you're in a bird's eye view of it. You can navigate out of it with so much more ease and still learn the lesson. Oh my God.
The view from the top is the best view.
It is the best view in the world. The best. That's where we should always be.
So Alena, as we come like more into the close now, I was very struck with how you engage your soul, how you started engaging your soul and talking to your soul and saying, are you there? And at first not maybe getting a response, but eventually you do. Can you share with the audience like that technique? Because I love that. And I'm a firm believer. And I don't know, some people, they say, oh, they don't listen to themselves. They listen to others. They don't know how to, they don't trust themselves even to ask themselves something because they're not sure what voice is talking to them either half the time. And they don't listen to intuition, especially I find that women will know, like, this isn't good for me. And they'll do it because they've been trained in a way not to go with their gut or go with their soul, whatever.
We were trained not to. It was made fun of. Whoa,
Yeah.
women's intuition.
Yeah.
That's a put down, folks. Then we kind of hit it. And yet that's one of the main ways spirit talks to us. And when I started getting interested, magic had come back into my life a little bit, and that just made me more hungry for it, right? And so I was starting to manifest things again. Rabbit's foot came back, but I wanted more. So I'm driving in the car. I do a lot in my car. And I'm driving.
You're in the car. You do drive a lot. Yes.
I do. That's because I can see the sky. You feel like you're progressing even when you're not. It's great. I love it. So anyway, I'm in the car and I thought, I said, "Are you there, soul?" And no, nothing there. And I thought, okay, I am going to find my way back to the soul. And what do I mean by that? It's the higher self. It is this extreme higher self that's connected to divinity and you. It is the link. So when you awaken that soul in you, all of a sudden the gone is the harshness and the criticalness and this sound in your voice that just is so loud, gone. And instead it's replaced with this incredible guidance. I mean, guidance that super, I know you read in the book how I dealt with my son, James, when my middle son decided he didn't want to go to school.
Right.
And how I dealt with that situation, my soul said, look in his eyes. It didn't say, bring on the whole family and how we're a collegiate family, right? No, it said, look in his eyes. And I did what it said. And I saw pain. And that changed everything. And how I handled that because of my soul, he trusts me. He's now 20. He's going into college. He's engaged. He owns a house.
Good for
already. Him. He's worked in business, so he's got that already. And even my future daughter-in-law said he trusts and loves you so much.
Because you did right by him. Yeah.
Because I listened to my soul. And my business the same way.
It would have been a totally different story.
It would have been awful. It would have put a wedge between us because I would have been forcing him through generations. My dad would have come out. What do you think you're doing? You're going to be a disgrace to the family. You're not going to. I have 3 degrees under me. I mean, I taught in universities. I'm like Miss Collegiate Lady here, right? And I could have just unleashed that on him like you would not believe. And I thought that's not the way. And that's what I think we don't understand. When people think, well, why do I want to do that? Because it brings you more of that flow in your life. But more than that, it helps everyone around you.
Right.
And it brings a richness to your life that you would never, ever see if you're still in that critical mind. And when you're in that critical mind, it puts you, guys, you're in a bubble. You're in a freaking bubble. And it's a bubble that's me, even though you don't feel like it. You got to break out of it. And that's where you can experience life to the fullest. That's really what it's about. And that's when the flow comes, because you're not about yourself every minute. Trying to fight that critical mind. It takes a hell of a lot of energy.
I remember I was doing this, I got very into health and, and eating and wellness, and I did Wild Fit. I did go Wild Fit, and it was amazing. I mean, I've never left. It's become my life, which has never happened to me before, that I actually got into a lifestyle and I have no desire to leave it. And I remember one of the coaches was very good. And, one of the people on the call, we had like weekly live calls, and she was talking about how, I sabotage and I da. And she just, the coach just said, okay, where do you get the idea that you can't do this, or that you can't be successful, or that you can't commit to your health, or that you can't maintain good practices? I want you all to take a couple of minutes, close your eyes, and I want you to ask yourself deep inside, where did you get this from? Who told you that you cannot be successful, that you cannot adopt a new lifestyle, that you cannot make a change? Like, who told you this? So I started doing it, and I said, I was expecting like my voice to say, your mother, your mother, your mother.
Yeah. Poor mom.
And I was just sitting there in the space, and I was listening and listening. All of a sudden, like from, I don't know, like my heart area, I heard a voice, and it just said, you did. And it flipped me out. I started shaking. And I said, oh my God, it just talked to me. This is my soul's talking to me. It's not my head.
No.
Because it wasn't coming up here, like, because normally I'd say my mother, like, my dysfunctional, upbringing, my family made me feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I did it to myself. And my soul was saying, you did it. You can undo this. And it's a work in progress 100%, but that was the first time. And that was just a little over a year ago. And I'm not like 20 years old. I might have misunderstood my soul many times, but now, especially after reading the book, now I say to my soul in the morning, I'm like, especially or during the day, I'll be like, how you doing, soul? You want to tell me something? And I'm just like, whatever comes into my head, I'm like,
That's
yeah.
right. That's what it is. Whatever comes in your head, you believe and you do. Yeah. And
if it's negative, I know it's not my soul, and it's me being
negative
like
or hard,
snarky.
Critical, that is the wrong side.
That's the wrong voice. Yeah.
It's the wrong voice. It's
because you
never
said the
that way.
soul only comes from a place of love.
Well, yeah, because that's divinity, love. And it will always come by love. It's always encouraging. It will always guide you correctly. You just have to understand you are so loved. I mean, people don't understand how really loved they are, and that they have so much going for them if they just open up to it.
Exactly.
We have such self-limiting beliefs sometimes that we just sabotage ourselves.
We sabotage ourselves in the funniest way. I have a client that she's like this inventor. She's a teacher. This woman is incredible, but yet she would self-sabotage her by she would actually put herself in situations that would, like marrying a man who criticized her, going to a school that was prejudiced against her. She was that self-sabotage, and she didn't even see it. But we did some work, and then she started opening. I don't tell you because you wouldn't believe me anyway, but I open you up to it, and then you say, oh my God, Alena, guess what?
I love that. Now listen, for our audience, Alena, what's the best way to contact you? Because I think a lot of people out there are looking for help.
The best way to contact me is to I have Jody, my assistant, and we have a phone number on alenachapman.com. And check out the website, guys, because I've updated it. Oh, I do have a present for everyone. I almost forgot. Do you want to hear it?
Yes. I want to hear it.
I have a free program that helps you. Oh, yeah, and I got that too. I have a free program called 7-Day Reset on my alenachapman.com. Alena's Alena. Everybody spells it wrong, so I thought I'd help them out. And then it's the 7-Day Reset, which is 7 days of different things. They're hacks, guys. They're hacks. They're hacks on how to better your life. And so go ahead, and that's a free program. Just sign up for that. That's peasy peasy. And then if they're interested, I do have, if they want to work with me, I have Living Purposefully Mastermind. Say that 10 times, because that's hard. Living Purposefully Mastermind. And so what I do in that, we have 6 times we meet, 2 times a month. And I'm telling you, you've never been in a mastermind like it. And I bring in a lot of you in it. I mean, not you out here, but you in here. And I help you to see things. People who have been in it are now at the point where, well, gosh, in this last one I had, we're having a day where all of a sudden they have gone inside because they've suddenly realized that they were the ones holding them back, just like you, Tammy.
Yeah.
Now they're looking. It's big. It's humongous. And they have just discovered that. And now they are bringing it forward. And now they're just kind of seeing, okay, if I am doing that, then they're naming 3 steps that they're going to do to break out of that and take control again and trust. But it's all about just realizing that we are the business.
Alena, I definitely want to make sure that Jody and you get to us the Living Purposely Mastermind also, because we're going to put everything in the show notes.
Yeah, it's in the show notes there. And so just grab that link. And also, there it is, alenachapman.com. And I'll tell you, there's a number, just call it too if you want to study with me privately. I do take on private students too. And there's a course there that fits you if you don't want the Living Purposely Mastermind. Mostly it's just getting you to live I want you kayaking.
What a gift you are. Thank you.
Isn't she?
Thank you.
Are priceless.
Okay, so Alena, with all of this, and the time went so quickly, but thank you so much for being on and for being a guest today. We know you're super busy, you got a lot going on, and we appreciate your time 100%. And we can't thank you enough for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me on. You guys are a total joy, and you are doing such a valuable mission to women who want to be entrepreneurs. Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
You. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And ciao.
Ciao. I love it. Ciao.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. We would love your support, so please leave us a review wherever you listen to this podcast. If you are interested in hearing more of the Beyond the Table podcast, please subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes. Check out the show notes to find out how to reach us, and remember, you are strong, intelligent, and sensational. You are beyond the table.